Bulletcast for life.
This is the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and you are listening to the Bulletcast.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Bulletcast, only sports recreational podcast that is simply just too sweet. I'm your host, Phillip. I am the African American Nightmare. I'm the leader of the selfish generation, and I am the pod father. Now, unfortunately, the rest of the cast members and I couldn't make it into the studio to record something for you today, but I have a special treat for you. It's an interview I did about a year ago with none other than the masterpiece, Chris Masters. Chris, he was nice enough to let me interview him, so I hope you guys really like this interview. And if you hear the words The Slam or the name The Slam, that was the name of a show I had on my college's television network. But anyway, this is completely a Bulletcast production, so I hope you enjoy it.
Hello and welcome to another edition of The Slam. I'm Phillip, and I'm here with a former WWE superstar, the masterpiece, Chris Masters. Chris, how you doing tonight?
How does it look like I'm doing? I'm great, man. What's up? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. That was a pretty entertaining performance you here tonight in Newark, California.
Yeah, man. Big time wrestling's like one of my home bases. You know what I mean? I go here at least a few times a year. The crowd was rowdy tonight, right? And I mean, I'm injured from head to toe, but we were still able to put on a good show, which is great.
Yeah. I've seen you wrestle live a few times. It's pretty cool. But speaking of the WWE, you were in there, and just what was it like wrestling in the WWE, the top wrestling promotion in the world?
Dream come true, man. I mean, it's what I wanted to do since I was a child, and I think, a lot of wrestling fans can relate to that, right? You know, not everybody took the plunge to get into it, but, it was my dream and my only passion, so I just devoted all my energy to it, and to watch all the little things unfold, like your theme music, your finishing move, you're on a video game action figure, all that stuff is awesome, man. You know what I mean? And it was, I never take that for granted, although I'm very happy to be on my own now. I like the freedom of it.
Who were some of your inspirations? Like, who were some of your favorites when you were a kid?
Oh, Shawn Michaels, bar none. I mean, I idolize that guy. I mean, he's still got to be, you got your Rocks, you got your Hogans, who are your kind of household names, but anybody who's a wrestling fan knows that the best in-ring performer ever was Shawn Michaels. I mean, that guy was just incredible, and getting to work him was a dream come true. It's like, getting to work your childhood idol. How many people get to do that, right?
Yeah, I remember watching that match live on TV as a kid. I'm sorry, but I went for Shawn. He was the guy for me, still is.
I don't blame you, man. He was my guy too. You know what I mean? But I can't sit there and praise him. I got to wrestle him, to earn his respect. So, I mean, that's what it comes down to, right? And, he beat me, but it was just awesome to work him, man. You know what I mean? We said a prayer together before the match. We went out there in good sportsmanship, competed, and, he really helped me out. He was like a mentor to me for my first initial 6 months in WWE, especially when I started working with him.
Yeah, so you've been on the indies for about a few years now. What possessed you to do that, and what are some of your favorite territories to wrestle in?
Well, nothing possessed me to do that outside of this and a handful of other things. This is the wrestling world, you know what I mean? It's indies, it's WWE, and then you got some other, more fringe promotions and non-fringe promotions even still competing. But, in terms of why, what's the question? Why I still do it, or?
Yeah, why you still do it, and what are some of your favorite territories?
Big time wrestling here, definitely a favorite of mine. It's a home of mine, PCW in England. I mean, I do a lot of work in England, Europe, the Middle East. I get around quite a bit just within the past couple of months, and I'm injured, so I was just training guys, but I went to France, Belgium. Before that, I went to Sudan, of all places. I mean, I get around pretty damn well for an indie wrestler, especially before I tore my ACL in November, you know what I mean? So I've been battling that for the last 6 months.
And last question, if you could wrestle anybody, alive, dead, who would it be in any promotion?
That's a funny question. People have asked me that, and not till recently have I thought Andre the Giant for some reason, just because I'd like to look across the ring and see, like, Andre, right? Like, that'd be crazy. Before I've always said guys like Bret Hart, because I never wrestled Bret and all that, but honestly, I think I would get the most trip out of if you were to like time warp me into just a match and I was looking across from Andre, I think that would get a reaction out of me more than any other wrestler you could think of, right? I mean, even like Hulk or any of these guys, because I mean, I've met them, never seen Andre in person, and the legend of Andre, of him being, you know, such a powerful presence in the locker room and in the ring, it would just be, it'd be surreal, you know? And I've wrestled like the Shawns, the Flairs, the Hunters, all those guys, but still, something about Andre would be crazy, right?
Yeah, indubitably. Chris, I'd like to thank you for this interview. It's been a pleasure talking to you. One of my favorites as a kid, man.
Thank you, I get that too much now. I
Yeah.
get that too much when I was a kid. When did I become the veteran?
I mean, like you had your peak when I was like in the 3rd grade, man.
I know.
Yeah.
What I realized is I've been wrestling 13 years old since, or 13 years. So now all the 10-year-olds are now 23, like yourself. So, all right, thanks for having me, man.
Thank you. This has been another edition of The Slam. I'd like to thank Big Time Wrestling in Newark, California for letting us interview the masterpiece Chris Masters. They have a show every month at the Newark Pavilion. Come check them out.
All right, I hope you guys really enjoyed that interview. Chris, he was such a nice guy. He let me interview him. Just a really cool guy to talk to after the fact. You know, he's so intellectual about the way he puts together a match, and his psychology and just his love for this business is unbelievable. I don't know when the cast members and I are going to be able to get to the studio to record another session for you, but when we do, we promise to make it better than the last time we recorded, and we're going to try to keep up and get back on track with our regular recordings. So until that time, this has been the Bulletcast. This is our yard now.
This has been the Bulletcast. Thank you for listening.